Contextualization means the process of changing or adopting according to the industry, according to the workplace, according to the learner group. That is the contextualization.
Hello and welcome back everyone, and today again we came back with the more set of questions and answers that we can get from our RTO expert or compliance expert, as I say, and this is more focusing on the training materials and especially how to contextualize. So today we have so many questions from RTO leaders. We got some questions from the comments as well, and we will try to address as many as we can. So let's dive in again. Thank you, Ben. Thank you for helping all the RTO leaders out there. And yeah, let's get started.
Thank you, Mahi. Look forward for all the questions.
So the first question I wanted to ask you is, what is contextualization in training and assessment?
Yeah, great question. And this is the word I think used a lot in the industry. And there's quite a few questions came from the clients as well. Let's just make it clear, easy, so everybody can understand. So first thing is that contextualization. First thing word is let's break it down. One is a context. Yeah. What the context means is a setting, environment, or a background. In RTO industry or education industry means the learner group, the workplace, industry. So what type of context that there? Utilization means there is a process for applying or adopting something. So in a way, that contextualization means the process of changing or adopting according to the industry, according to the workplace, according to the learner group. That is the contextualization. Okay, I can give you some example that, okay, there will be a question that describes workplace safety procedure. So that's a basic question, and I'll give you example of contextualization. Describe how to apply workplace safety procedure on a construction site. So what we now, the question, the first question, the generic question was the basic question. Now we contextualize to the construction industry. So that's why that is the contextualization.
Oh, okay. Do you have more example?
Yes, I can give you another example that, okay, one of my cohort is actually working in the industry for 2 years or 3 years. Okay. And the content that I have, it's for the fresh people. So therefore, the people who have 2-3 years of experience, they already have some fundamental knowledge and skill. So I need to update my questions and learner guide and content to actually go a little bit more deeper for this particular cohort. So if I have a generic content, I need to read through it and make it more relevant to that particular cohort.
Why is contextualization is very important for RTO and student learning outcome?
Great question. So why is important? Because it's according to standard RTOs 2015. We need to make sure that we update or contextualize the resources according to the learner needs. And therefore, that's one thing that to be compliant. That's why, you always see ask a question by ASQA auditor or someone said, did you contextualize your assessment? Did you contextualize your resources? What does that mean? That ASQA auditor or whoever, they want to check that did you review the material and is that aligned with the cohort that you're trying to give these resources according to your training and assessment strategy. So that's why it's important. But because in a generic, if I contextualize or update the content according to the student or the student cohort, they will be more engaged as well. They find learning more meaningful, and therefore it also leads to a student learning outcome.
Okay. And how can RTO effectively contextualize training and assessment material while maintaining the compliance?
As I said just before, that every RTO need to review and contextualize the material. There are some do's and don'ts in contextualization. So let's discuss about what can I do. So number one is you can change the language based on your cohort. But first make sure the first prerequisite is understand the cohort very well. So if I want to understand the cohort very well, I said, what the age group, what experience they have, do they have any special requirement, what are the background, what are the language proficiency. If I have all those information, I get better idea of my cohort. And then I can say, now I need to change the language, now I need to give them more example, now I need to make it more industry specific, I need to add workplace procedures, I need to add more case studies. All those things I can do it once I know the cohort properly. However, there are some don'ts that you can't do it. We cannot compromise the unit of competency requirement at any cost. So we cannot make something which is said, okay, not gonna meet the unit requirement. Their performance criteria, the knowledge evidence, assessment condition, unit application, across all those things. So those are the things that we need to be very careful.
Okay. What are the common mistakes RTOs make when contextualizing resources, and how can they avoid them?
Yeah, so usually there are 4. Number 1 is not meeting the unit requirement. So when I'm updating the resources, I'm actually skipping or removing the unit requirement part, and therefore that lead to non-compliant. Second thing is when I'm doing contextualization, I'm actually making things even more difficult or more lengthy for the student. Then it's again making things difficult for the student. So that's also happens sometimes. After that, when you're updating the resources and all those things, if you don't consult with the industry, that also can create a problem. And when you complete all this contextualization, if you don't keep the record, you can't prove. So those 4 things, actually those major things that you need to cover.
Yeah, and is there any step-by-step guide that RTO can follow to ensure the proper contextualization?
Yeah, I think there is no specific step-by-step guideline given anywhere, but as part of the process, I have some process to follow. Like say, for example, if I need to do contextualization, or if I teach someone how to do it, just to make it simple, we just make a step-by-step. Step number 1 is, first of all, you read and understand your training and assessment strategy, understand your cohort very well. Once you understand your cohort, then I have a step 2 is, okay, now I understood, I will go through the assessments or learner resources with the training package requirement. And then I will say, I will make some changes as required. I highlight those changes that I have made. And then the third step, whatever the changes I have made, I'll check with the training package requirement and see that it is actually correctly mapping where it should be. Then the 4th step is, now I go and give it to my compliance person or industry person, so to double check that, okay, the changes that I have made, that make sense and it's not actually creating more compliance issue. Once you verify all this part, and then I'll say, I'll keep those evidence for whatever contextualization I have done. That number 5 and number 6, now I'll send it that for approval. Once that approved, and start implementing.
Nice. So we pretty much know quite a detailed knowledge about how we can contextualize our training materials and what things that we need to be very aware of when we are actually contextualizing our training and assessment kits. So if you have any more questions, if you think we have skipped something, just make sure you put down the comments and just let us know if you wanted to know more about it. And thank you so much, Ben. We learned so much. I'm sure that RTO leaders must be thanking you right now for this information. So thank you so much once again.
Thank you guys. Grateful to have you. See you then.
Watch the full video and master contextualization. Click on the link in description.